of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest is Max Bendich. Hey, Pop.
How are you, my son?
Good.
Very good.
You know, it was interesting. In between shows, we were talking about, because we shoot two shows. You know, there's the secret. We do shoot two shows in one day. But in the prior show, in between the two episodes, we were talking about life on the outside, meaning life on the outside of the studio versus life right here. And you know, in a way, this is more real, the conversation. This is what you said. This is reality because we're actually here. This is real because the conversations that we have here are at a different level or depth than what people have on the outside for the most part, at least in your experience, my experience as well. So,
and we have already experienced it.
Right.
We have experienced it. We know and so,
that's okay. But it was an interesting concept to me because at the same time it was like a light bulb that shined on top of my head after you said that, and it's so true because a lot of times, you know, even when we're driving here, you know, sometimes I'll get aggravated, I'll say, you know, this, that, traffic, whatever, talking about just external things that mean nothing. And then we come here, we start off the conversation, next thing you know, we're talking about things that are real. And communicating with my father like I never did before, as we always say in every episode.
And sometimes the reality is rough.
Yeah.
No, rough, not rough in an appreciative way. I mean, why didn't we do this before?
Right.
Why? How come that we're talking like this now? 10 years ago, we won't talk. First of all, again, I know the reason. First of all, you know, it's a different life, a different work, a different this. And now we're sitting as if we're we're sitting like this as if we're two retired people thinking, boy, we had it good.
No, and we did. We had it good, Dad. I mean, even if we go back to the days, well, I had it good I'll put it this way. I had it good in the cocoon of the family.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have it so good outside of the family. I mean, only because of the neighborhood that we lived in and things like that, which we discussed. But within the family, there was no family I know that had as much love as, I mean, I'm not going to compare myself to other ones, but I'll say we had so much love in our little cocoon, and it was great. And I was the baby in the family. I loved it. I had the greatest time in that family.
But we didn't think of it that way.
Right.
We didn't. We thought of it. That was natural.
Right.
We had to do this. A family.
Right. We didn't talk about how wonderful this is. We just did it. We lived it.
We lived it, Alan.
Right.
We lived it, and the results are when you take a look at us. How could that have happened? How could we have been this way? We had an opportunity maybe to do something else and we didn't.
Right.
And
again, not just forks in the road, there were bumps in the road, you know, as we will. I mean, things happen, things didn't go according to plan. But the thing is, that's actually what life is too, is that you make a plan and, what is it? People make plans and God laughs, whatever, right?
Whatever it is.
You know, people plan, whatever the expression is, because, you know, you make plans, but life sometimes has a different road that you have to go on. You know?
And as you get into that little road that's difficult, you learn something.
Oh, absolutely.
You learn something, hopefully, to do it again.
Right.
Or also, hopefully, at the same time, good luck or bad luck, that this never happens again.
Right.
And it's with our family, it succeeds.
Right. Well, we've been very fortunate. We've been very fortunate.
That our, I forget the word, a word that.
What are you trying to say?
What?
What?
A word meaning that when we don't feel so good and everything, and we knew how to handle adversity. Maybe we knew how to handle adversity.
And sometimes, Dad, sometimes we didn't know how to handle it, but we still made. The thing is, I think one thing that you also, I mean, whether you know how to handle it or not, you have adversity. Sometimes it's terrible. But the thing is, it's not even know how to handle it. It's just that you survive it. And I think to a certain extent, it's not even knowing how to handle it, just being strong enough to survive it. And I think that's one thing that you are, because you're a survivor.
And you're right. And with words,
Yes.
Those words, you never speak those words again. That's it. No,
That's it.
no, it's no big deal.
Right.
A few words
Right.
can blow us up.
Right.
A few words can.
Well, that's one thing. Another thing you would always say, because my nature, unfortunately, a lot of times is anger. I have a lot of anger. I have anger issues, you know. And you would say, why are you getting so angry? Nothing's important. Nothing means anything. I don't. And you also said, you know, like if bad words were said or whatever, you say, words don't mean anything to me. Words mean nothing. That's what you would say, except when we're here.
Think of what you said. I say that. That's
you do.
me.
That's you. That's your words.
Me.
That's a quote.
That's me.
I know.
And I'm succeeding that way.
I know.
Alan, and I'm doing it.
It's the right thing to do.
Automatically.
Right. That's who you are.
That's who I am.
Right.
And I think a little is rubbing off at the family.
Oh, no question.
And hey,
with Aaron, with the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren.
and like you said, when I said to Michael, I feel I should do this. Zadie, don't feel, do it.
Right, just do it. That's it.
To be told by my grandson, you're living, do it already. Right. That's all.
You know, and it is interesting. You know, like now that my kids are older, a lot of times when you get feedback from your children, you know, it's good to hear, but it's like it could be rough too. You know, like because sometimes you think you're living your life a certain way, and then all of a sudden you get someone else's point of view, and it's like, whoa, you know, it's actually. It might not always be something you want to hear, you know, that you hear.
Well, when we moved from our
That's
house.
what I'm saying. I'm saying that too.
When we moved from our house to Kitay House.
Right. You didn't want to hear that.
10 years before that,
right.
Our answer was, when we were 80 years old, when I was, and David is a doctor, he would say to us, Dad, you're 80 years old.
Right.
Do you think you're going to live to be 90? And I would say, so what? Wait. So don't.
That's true. That's what he would say. He said, you know, he said that at 70. He said, Dad, you're 70 years old. You think you're going to live to 80? Then when you're 80 years old, Dad, you're 80 years old. You think you're going to live to 90? And when you're 90, he said, Dad, you're 90 years old. You think you're going to live to 100? And you're going to be 100 in 6 months.
But when he came at that last one, one thing we knew, the mom was already
right. She was sick.
She was sick, and.
It was sick, but mostly not just sick. She was handicapped. I mean, let's.
She was in a chair.
Well, she wasn't in a chair yet. She was
in the walker.
In the walker.
All right, we started off in the walker, and again, why do I think it was that way? Because I started to go to a senior center.
Right, I know.
And because when we go to a senior center, I still have. A weekly program of theirs, and the kind of food and everything else. I did the cooking.
Right.
We had the breakfast program. I'd eat breakfast in the house.
Right.
Because we have to go an hour later. They give us a breakfast program, we took it home. They give us a lunch program, we took it home. So the breakfast program that they gave us
was lunch.
Was lunch. And the lunch program they gave us was dinner.
I mean, you had it made. You had it made because of you had it made because you were resigned to the fact that this is how I'm going to live. It's going to be nutritious. You'll get nutrition, and you don't need fancy stuff. I mean, you're a person who realized that if you eat this, it has the proper nutrients. Why does it have to be something else that has proper nutrients?
But also, Alan, no kidding. We knew we were going to be busy for at least 4 hours.
Oh, yeah. You had a mom, too. Right.
I'm talking about mom, too. Yeah. We played games. We had lectures. We had plays.
You danced.
I even told you, one of our, Alan, try to think of this. One of our plays was the
Prodigal Son. We talked about it. That's why do you think the first episode of Scriptless was the Prodigal Son? That's the reason why I did that.
And Alan,
I know you wrote it.
And
that's why Scriptless was the first episode was the Prodigal Son. That's the reason.
So we lived a good life, Alan, and we traveled.
Right. But
and
it was good in the past. But again, it was good, but. One thing I do remember, like in the 50s and in the 60s, no one talked about anything. You know, no one talked about anything.
The future, there's no such thing as a future.
Right. But I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about going back, just thinking about the past. we did things. We lived, as we talked about before. We were just living.
No,
There were no real discussions,
No.
except maybe political discussions. But even politics is not the same thing as interpersonal discussions. You know what I mean?
We worked, Alan.
I know.
We had no time to do anything else. And our type of work,
Right.
a laundryman.
Oh, that's all physical.
It was a rough. It's a rough.
It was physical
thing.
during the day, and you did the books at night.
I
So
think-
it was.
no, it was. And,
all consuming.
And yes, but it was again time. But we managed it.
Right.
Until one time we couldn't manage it, so I quit.
Right.
Now, and when you told me I quit so young, how could we do it? I did it.
Well, I was even talking yesterday because I was talking to some of the cast members and the crew of Scriptless because we were driving back from Manhattan, and I was saying, you know, he retired at 62. He's 97 and 99. He's been retired for 37 years. I think he's retired longer than he worked. That's what I was thinking. You know, to a certain extent, you were gonna,
Alan, I
You know what I'm saying?
retired very early.
But you retired longer than you worked in terms of after World War II. You were already 30, right?
Yeah.
31.
31 years old.
Right.
I was
So
26.
you only worked, so from 31. I mean, I know you were working before then, but you started really. I mean, with Mom, you were working really from 31 till 62. You only worked 31 years, and you've been retired for 37 years. That to me is amazing that you were able to actually.
Except one thing, and I'm glad we forgot it.
Yeah.
How could I retire that much when I didn't have a nickel, Alan? A few months as a soldier,
Right. I know that you made all that money.
I did something, and I was lucky, lucky, Alan, because I was supposed to, and when you think of it, be in the Battle of the Bulge
Right.
and get killed.
Right.
Alan, I'm open about that.
I know.
And instead of that, I go to Berlin.
Right.
I meet the Russians,
Right.
and the Russians had money, and we didn't have money.
I know. You sold them
And-
watches,
and,
and you sold them
and before you know it, they were buying things from us.
cigarettes, watches.
And Alan, that changed my life 100%, day and night.
Right.
And that's one of the big reasons that
That's a fork in the road, right, Pop?
that's that fork in the road. Either I retire or there's no reason. What do I need? What did I need? The children were fine.
Well, the only person that wasn't fine at that point was me.
As you. Why? Because
I was the
somebody-
wild card.
No, again.
Yeah.
But even at the wild card, you made life good for us.
Right.
You decided you wanted to go to California.
Right.
And you went.
Right.
Goodbye, Pop. Goodbye, Mom.
See ya.
And Alan, whenever we had a chance, I don't know how we did it. Whenever we closed the store.
I know.
We went
For a couple of weeks.
One time, I went with Mom up and down the United States,
Right.
and we went. I was in Camp Crowder, Missouri, and we went down to Camp Crowder, Missouri. There was about 2 barracks left. Everything was gone, but we were there, and we traveled, Alan.
You saw the country.
We saw the country, and little by little, we made up our minds.
Yeah.
Do we have to have this? Do we have to have this? No. And even with school, Alan, we were lucky.
Yeah.
CCNY
Right.
didn't charge anything. Layman,
Well, but I got the Regent Scholarship for SUNY Binghamton. SUNY Binghamton was no tuition.
oh no, that's why we were lucky.
I know.
Alan,
Because I had the scholarship.
Alan, and now it costs us not only a fortune and a half.
Well, that's true. I was telling you, right?
I
I,
know
mean,
it.
60,000 for Vassar,
I've-
and Kara. I think I have a feeling she's going to cost the same amount.
All right. Not you have a feeling she is going to cost the
know.
same amount. And,
That's it. But you know what? The other thing you taught me, which I don't know if everybody believes that, but is that what's the money for? I mean, why are you working? You're working for your children. That was your life.
that was not the children,
The family. But that's what the family means. I mean, the
That's
family
right.
doesn't really mean. I mean, the wife and the husband, they could take care of themselves, but it's the children that can't take care of themselves.
That's the whole thing. And one other thing, we never said it. I never asked the children for money.
Right. That's true.
Never.
Right.
Understand?
Right.
here you hear, oh, the children are doing this, and the
In
children.
Cathay House, you hear that, right?
In Cathay House,
I mean, that's it. Well, and you never did, and you never did, and you never will.
And I never will.
Right.
And
there's no reason to, because I don't know how you did it, but again, you've taken care of yourself.
wait, again, by luck, we bought a house because
That's the reason. It's the house.
We bought a house.
Right.
And all of a sudden we're going to Cathay House.
Yeah.
And I gave the house to the children.
Right.
David,
Enough said.
David made the house.
Right.
Uh,
No, but it's the house really that.
and
that's good.
we didn't want. It's a different kind of a life.
Right.
And look,
That's
Alan.
Thank God you didn't have the house anymore, because you could have gotten hurt in the house. That was the whole thing. The reason why we asked, we wanted you to leave, is because we thought maybe you also the other, if you remember, we do you occasionally would go up on the roof to clean off the. Forget it. I mean, that was the thing that was scaring everyone. Is that, and even when you were 90. You were going up on the roof to take the leaves off the roof.
Now, if you remember, we also had a closet
Right.
that went to the roof.
The old days. That was in the old days.
We went there. We made sure that no one
It was closed, right? So no one could come in.
We closed that.
Right.
So how can we go out? We'd have to have a ladder from there
The
right
porch
up to the
all the way.
roof. Right up to the roof, a two-story ladder.
And that was, and when everyone said, David and Miriam would say, Dad can't go up there anymore. Dad can't go up there anymore. So who had to go up there?
Alan.
Yeah, they said, Dad can't, okay, I'll go. So I remember there'd be times when I'd be sweeping up but one thing I did, we did this as a partnership though. You used to go up there with bags and take all the leaves off. Yeah. But I just swept the leaves off, and you did the bag.
Oh yeah, if you remember.
I put it to the, yeah.
We had a roof that
it was flat.
And a flat roof, and you could.
So you could throw the leaves off to the end.
And all I had to do is to take a broom or whatever I did it, and fill up the bags. And
yeah, but the bag going up and down and up and down, it was scary. And and mom would always rat you out. She would say, Mac is going up and down the ladder to the roof.
But still, she wouldn't sell the house.
Right.
If you know, I'm going to be living there. I'm dying there. But she eventually, and Alan, for that year and a half or whatever, she had a wonderful life. Alan, it was good.
Yeah, I can't, and it's, I don't know. It's very sad,
It's naturally. Look.
And you know what? I mean. Kara's doing very well in school, and Aaron is too. But I wonder, like with the news that we had that she did well on one of those tests, one of those standardized tests. What would Mommy think? What would Mom think?
Mom would get younger.
I know.
Alan, Mom would get younger. She would really.
Yeah.
We actually saw it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, forget about even with the family when she knew my brother Aaron.
Right.
Little by little, the son of a shirt ironer, doing,
becoming one of the original members of the Sloan Kettering Institute.
And he was
he one of the people that started.
He made Sloan Kettering.
Right.
It was a different family, but my brother's family.
Yeah.
Yet she loved it, Alan. And we tried again. This is from the beginning, Alan.
Right. It's always been interesting.
Again, I have to go back.
Yeah.
We said this in the first about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Alan, I believe in second chance, so we might as well say it now also. Why? We'll keep on saying it forever. That when we had a club room, Alan.
I know.
And two girls would come in to dance, and I was a very good dancer. I was a very good. Two girls would come in, and what am I looking at? Hearing folk music, Paul Robeson singing ballads for Americans, and and one of my friends was, get that off, they're here to dance. Oh no, look, we want to listen to this, Alan. And we danced, and she left, and then because of this folk music, eventually they came back, and that was a girl I was going to marry.
And that was the second chance.
The second chance.
That's
It doesn't happen so often now.
I know.
And
but you know what? The other thing it's interesting though. My life now is a second chance too in terms of the acting. Mm-hmm. I mean, it didn't work out as well as I wanted. You know, I mean,
right.
it ended, but now it's back. You know, and if it's not acting, at least it's doing things in front of cameras. You know, so and I don't know. We discussed this also earlier because we were thinking when you become 100, on the way here. You know, I mean, you're in the Daily News this week. You know, yesterday you were in the Daily News, a big article about you being 99 years old and, you know, being an actor and starting second chances, third chance, whatever it is. I mean, you know, this, I forgot where I was going with it, but, you know, you're going to be 100 soon, you know. It's going to be amazing.
Believe it or not, what's my attitude?
A day is a day.
March 25th is going to come. I'll be 100. March 26th is another day.
Right.
No more 100 anymore. You live what you have, how you have to live.
Right.
Because one day is again in these places, Cathay
Right.
House, there are all over the United States.
Right.
One day is the same as another.
Right.
The exact same as another, and that's good. Because if it wasn't, if they were this up and down, you live the life that you have now.
You know, the interesting thing, you know, again, to me, I'm still amazed that you keep on going. You know what I mean? Because there have been times, even on this show, you know, like we missed a month because you were sick. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm amazed that you have, you know, you just, whatever it is, you know, why you, you know?
Oh, the why me? I ask myself all the time. But the amazement, Alan, I'm doing it.
Right. I'm
doing it, not even thinking about it. Why? I feel good.
Right.
I feel good, and I feel good, and I thank you. I thank the doctors.
Right.
I thank my pills.
Right.
I thank the people I'm living with. I thank Alan. These people.
Oh, this is the question. Okay, I forgot what I wanted to say, but now I remember. Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do the acting? No. What's the reason? I mean, that was the thing, because you asked me the question. I forgot when we were going, what I was saying just before, but I just remembered. We were talking about when you become 100, maybe we'll get you on a network television show to be interviewed by Willard Scott or whatever it is. And they might even ask the question, you know, like, why do you want to act? Why do you want to be on this show? I mean, what is it? I mean, what is the thing that drives you to do it?
Good question, and don't forget.
Okay.
All of a sudden, my son comes to me and says, Dad, there's a show. I want to take your life. I want maybe our great-grandchildren, some of them are never going to know you, and the other ones, they know. Let's talk about that. I said, what are you talking about? And then you told me about this thing here. I said, fine.
Right.
And I'll never forget the very first day I sat down and we started talking together. Right. I never was so scared in my life. What am I going to talk about?
Right. And I wanted you to be small in your answers, but now it's like we have all the time in the world.
We have all the time. And Alan, I'm glad. Why am I doing this?
Right.
It's something different. It's something that I never thought and it makes my life in Cathay House pass a little faster than ordinary. Right. We're not, believe it or not, I'm not doing things ordinarily.
Right.
This is not an ordinary thing. And why? I'm still healthy.
Right.
The number is going to be 100.
Right.
And, I even go to the Veterans Administration. Yes, we never said anything. Right across the street on Webb Avenue, we're on one side of Webb, and the other side of Webb is the Veterans Administration.
Right.
I've been going there. One day, when I was very young, I decided that I had to have something done to me, and I went to the Veterans Administration on 23rd Street, and I sat there for about 5 hours. I walked out. They didn't do anything with me, and I'm hollering. I never went back, and I'm sorry I never went back. Why? Because you go to the Veterans Administration, they're doing a lot of things for me, Alan.
I know you got the hearing aid.
Well, the hearing aid, I just got that a few days ago.
Right.
But I'm talking about the examinations, this, that.
They take care of you.
And I'm reading in a paper that there's something bad going on.
But you know what? I think maybe because you're World War II. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're someone that's special now because, you know, there's not many of you guys left.
That's right. No, there are a lot left.
No, but not as many. I mean, then.
No, know why I say that?
Yeah.
Because just recently, maybe 10, 15, the last from World War I died.
Right.
I'm not talking about, again, we are there.
Right.
And we know we're the lucky ones.
Right.
Why? Because we are still here.
Right.
And some of them know me why I walk up and down with the walker, Alan. I do it and why am I, instead of walking on my part of the street, the sun is shining like this.
Right.
Before it reaches, this is covered with darkness.
Right.
The sun is shining up there, and that's where the VA is.
Right.
I'm walking on that side, back
That's
and
good.
forth and back. If you take a look at the sun, and Alan,
You're feeling good.
I feel good.
You know,
Alan.
life is good, and it's it's good.
And something else.
Yeah.
And people die there.
Right.
But but people new people come in.
Right.
And you actually can see the difference. From once upon a time we were all 80, and now we're at 90. We see these 80-year-old people coming in.
Yeah.
They look younger. They look at 80 years old.
You're thinking, boy, well, look at these young. Well, 80 years old is almost 20 years younger than you.
I know it.
20 years.
I'm the one who says that. I realize that 20. Now?
How could you be so good 20 years after being 80?
Wait a minute. So every now and then, you think I'm kidding, I see a lady, I'm not kidding you, and I'm even ashamed even so the first thing, Alan, don't laugh. Yeah, the first thing I tell these people, I'm 99 years old.
Yeah. Don't look for a long-term relationship. No, just kidding.
Alan, only one person actually ran away from me. Alan. Well, I want to tell you, I'm not kidding. That lady who's dancing with me on
in the laps?
Central Park.
Oh, in the laps.
In the laps. This lady does something. So I'm holding her, and we're dancing, and I'm almost kissing her. I didn't, though. And she disappears. Now, it's all over. People are leaving, you know, whatever. And then I said, look, one thing I want to have to tell you. I was this was about 8 years ago, 6, whatever.
No, this was only 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
3, I'm 90. I was 98 at that time.
You were 97.
I was 90. I'm 97 years old. And I'm holding her. Alan, I'm holding her. And she hears that. And little by little, she ran. Alan, I was embarrassed.
Okay.
So from now on, whenever I meet anybody, I tell them almost immediately, I'm 99 years old.
Yeah.
Because,
and you know what I say whenever I meet anybody? I say this. I say the last thing I always say. Okay. That's a wrap. Oh, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Good night, folks.